After a series of rainstorms came through the area, the Listie Grove track crew spent time preparing a great pulling surface for the two-day Thunder truck and tractor pull. On today's episode, we have the Outlaw Street Gas trucks and the super modified trucks competing. The action starts right now. And kicking off tonight's show is the Outlaw Street Gas four-wheel drive truck division. We have 4 trucks competing tonight here at the two-day Thunder truck and tractor pull. We have Dave Miller, Justin Rhodes, Bud Harris, and Matt Mosier, the top points pullers in the class here coming out tonight. With a chance of rain showers in the forecast, a lot of pullers decided to stay away for the Friday night session, but these guys have a lot on the line. They're going to be pulling all year long, trying to win that points championship. Here's your first puller, Dave Miller, the Fredneck truck. Let's see what he can do. And not a bad run to kick off the class. We'll look at your replay here, 296.63. Definitely different track conditions than we've seen so far this year with all the rain, all the moisture soaking up into that dirt. He tried to get some traction, finally got a little bit, it seemed like, and had a great run to set the mark to beat. And next up, it's going to be an 83 GMC. Justin Rhodes is the driver, and he calls this truck It's Good to Have a Goal. Starting off on the right side of the track, let's see what he can do here. And not a bad run at all, just going to be shy of that leader at 287.09, but ran a similar line down the track, got into it quick, spun a lot of RPMs down through there, but just not quite enough for Justin Rhodes. A respectable run nonetheless. Next up's going to be Bud Harris, Ice Cream Money, another square body GMC here. Still looking for that first win on the Appalachian Outlaws pulling series. Let's see if he can do it here. Catch a replay, but it seemed like that truck never wanted to lock down and go. He pedaled it the majority of the track, I would say, to put down a distance of 254.09. So not what you want to see if you're Bud Harris, but he got down the track, put a show on for the fans, and stayed somewhat close so he can try to win that points championship. But for one of the smallest engines in the class, a very respectable run put down. And that's going to be good enough for the third spot right now. One more puller left. Next up's going to be Matt Mosier, 76 Ford. He calls White Whiskey. Going to be the last truck in the class, but if anybody can take the lead here, it's going to be him. Your 2022 points champion. Here he goes. And he gave that track everything he could give, just screaming down the track. 283.72, going to be about 13 feet shy of the winner here tonight. But a respectable run put down, and that keeps him pretty close for the 2023 points race. So not bad.
But not too bad of a hook. She's in one piece, so that's good. He's going to take her home at 283.72, 283.72, going down the track 21.1 of a mile an hour.
And that's going to do it for tonight's Outlaw Street Gas division. Dave Millard going to get a win here again, 296.63. Justin Rhodes, 287.09. Matt Mosier, 283.72, and Bud Harris, 254.09. Gonna round out the class here tonight. These trucks will be competing next week here at Destination 300 for the Patriot Pool. So, gonna be exciting to see how this class turns out through the middle portion of the season. And next up is going to be the Super Modified Truck Division. We have 6 trucks scheduled to compete here tonight, including Jake Slingloff, Shane Fleck, Kevin Landis, Doug Show, Jerry Berghoff, and Brad Berghoff's going to round out the class here tonight. Coming out on the track is Jake Slingloff, the Empty Pockets truck, a fan favorite, a 41 Dodge, but let me tell you, it does not have the stock engine in this truck. This truck makes a ton of horsepower, and here he is pulling out. And something not right there. We're going to pull him back and give him one more attempt here. Let's see if he can get it the second time. Something still not right with that truck, but he's able to get it out there and set the mark to beat 281.14. Got it lit up and going down the track good, and then it just puttered out of power at the end there. But he was having a really strong run. We'll see if it's enough to get the win. And next up is going to be Kevin Landis with the PA Ridge Runner T-Bucket, the only two-wheel drive in the class, and man, he was on a roll last year. Almost won the points championship and then went out of bounds here at Listie. So let's see if he can keep it in between the lines tonight and get the win. Man, and riding that white line there at the end is going to get him out to 336.08. What a run laid down by him there in a strong distance. We'll see if anybody can get out there even close to him, but he had a nice wheelie going, got those back tires planted, and put a bunch of distance out there. Next up's going to be Doug Show with the Showtime truck, and 2019 Ford body on this truck. Cummins power plant, a top running truck in the division and a fan favorite. And that truck was just flying out through there. 303.24 gonna be the distance. Not enough to take over the leader spot, but good enough for second place right now, with 3 more trucks left in the class. Next up's gonna be your 2022 points champion. This is Jerry Berghoff, the Attitude Adjuster Reloaded truck. This guy right here, in just recent memory, has won a lot of points championships, a lot of individual pulls, and probably has more experience than any other puller in this class, or close to it. So let's see what he can do here. Distance to beat is 336.08. Here's the Attitude Adjuster Reloaded. And a great run put down just past Doug's show, and that's going to get him in the number 2 spot right now. 3:07.05 for Jerry Berghoff. And he started in the middle portion of that track, or at least a little bit further over than the other trucks did. Came out, got in it pretty aggressively, and put down a nice pass there. 3:07.05. Next up is going to be Brad Berghoff, the Attitude Adjuster 2, and his resume is just about as big as his father's so far. Lots of wins, lots of points, championships, tons of experience behind this blower 4-wheel drive truck. Let's see if he can take over the lead. And man, did he just soar out there. 3:26.07, gonna be the distance for him. About 10 feet shy from the leader though. But a great run to put down, and that gets him very close in the points race as we go into the next pool next month. So a great run put down by Brad Berghoff, the Attitude Adjuster 2. And Shane Fleck could not get down the track. He ended up braking as soon as he got to the staging area. So that's going to do it for the class here. Kevin Landis, 3:36.08. Brad Berghoff, 3:26.07. Jerry Berghoff, 3:07.05. Doug Show, 3:03.24. And Jake Slingloff, 2:81.14. Gonna do it for tonight's class. And we're kicking today's show off with one of the top running small blocks in the division. This is Brian Struble, Ford Small Block Power here. He had a pretty good run at Cookport, but looking to improve here today at Listie. Let's see what he can do here. And that's going to set the mark to beat 3:01.98. He's keeping that distance and going to be right around that 300-foot mark. So a solid distance to put down in this class. This class is very competitive. Most of the trucks are always within about 10 feet of each other. So a respectable distance to keep there. And next up is going to be Ray Unger, the number 2 truck in the points division right now. True American Heroes 1980 Chevy. Had a great run at Cookport. Let's see if he can keep the momentum going here at Listie. And not a bad run. As soon as the clutch came out, it seemed like the old girl didn't want to get going, but towards the middle portion of the track, the truck picked up an RPM and finished strong there. 293.07, gonna be the distance, so about 8 feet away from the leader, but a respectable run. Next up, this is a truck that is making its 2023 debut here. This is Josh Sharver with the Coal Crusher. A good-looking Chevy square body. Let's see what he can do here. And we'll take a look at the replay here. 297.98. Seemed like he came off super hard trying to get those tires to start spinning and was wiggling all over the track, but was able to have a really good middle portion of the run there. Turn a lot of RPM, finish strong, just about 4 feet shy from the leader position. Next up, this is Brett Kalanovich, Money for Nothing, a top running truck in the small block high output division. Let's see if he can take over the lead. And a very strong run put down, 3:02.77, gonna be your new leader out there. And man, he got in it quick. He got in it as probably faster than any truck so far in today's show. And it showed the right side of the tracks hooking up, he was able to get out there and set the new mark to beat. Next up is Jim Basinger, High Noon, a top running truck in this division. He got third at Cookport just a couple weeks ago, looking for his first win of the 2023 season. Here he goes. Man, he was all over the place. That was not the prettiest run. I think he probably thought he could do a little bit better there towards the end of that pass. But it's enough. 309.48 gonna be good enough to take over the number one spot by a pretty big margin there. The truck got a little bit squirrely there towards the end of the pass like we were saying, but man, good enough to do it. We'll see if it holds. Lots of good trucks left in the class here. Next up is going to be Jim Matthews, the Plum Crazy truck, another fan favorite here at Listie Grove. A top running truck in the street class for years, and now he's bumped up to high output. Let's see if he can take over the number one spot. And a respectable run put down, but not quite enough. 290.93. Gonna be the final distance for Plum Crazy. And it just doesn't seem like that engine's running quite right yet. But man, when they get that thing going right, this is gonna be a truck to look out for. Next up is going to be the number one truck in the class, the 2022 points champion, and the number one truck for the 2023 season so far, Jason Garris. Here he is, a 1970 Chevy. And giving it all she had, but not quite enough. 308.44. And man, he was gunning for that number one spot. It just seemed like the truck died out towards the end. Gave it all she had, and man, a nice smooth pass down through there. And this is Brandon Struble with the Mutiny truck. Here he goes. And one of the better runs we've seen with that truck, 304.19, so about 5 feet away from taking the win here tonight. But he veered off towards the middle portion of that track a little bit more than some of his competitors. Looked like it sucked them back into the road there that the other trucks were building. And he got 304.19. Not a bad run. Number one spot's going to go to Jim Basinger, 309.48. Jason Garris, 308.44. Brandon Struble, 304.19. There's your top three and your results. Next up, the Hot Rod Diesel four-wheel drive truck division. Kicking off the Hot Rod Diesel four-wheel drive truck division is Jeff Weimer, a 1997 Ram he calls bad for business. A top-running truck in the division here, the test puller in the class, so he has the option to turn this one down if he doesn't like it. Let's see what he can do. And something not right there, so he's going to come back at the end of the class. This will be his drop hook, and next up is Dale Gazda, Old Blue. A good running Dodge here in the class, looking for his first ever Appalachian Outlaws Pulling Series win. Can today be the day for him? And a good run to start off the Hot Rod Diesel trucks here. Kyle and Dale have been getting better and better at driving this truck, wrenching on the truck, getting it to run a little bit better itself. 296.16, a very good run put down by the truck there. Not bad. And next up is going to be Rod Briggs, a 1997 Dodge he calls Bad Ash. One of the top running trucks in this class, and he has a lot of experience here at Listie Grove, a long-time puller on this track. So let's see if that experience works out for him here. We're going to bring him back and see if he can try here again and get it going. And not a bad run. He's going to put it way out there. We're waiting for a distance for him. 3:14.48. Not a bad run at all. He put about 20 feet on the Gazda pulling team there. So a very good run, and that's a distance that could hold up here as the rest of the show goes on. We'll see if it stands. Next up is going to be Greg Slingloff. The pocket change truck. It's a 1997 Dodge. A lot of 97 Dodges in this class. A good platform to start off with, though, and they run good. He's spooling it up. Let's see if he can get past that leader cone. And a great run put down, 3:12.34. And man, he got in it quick. Got those RPMs a turning, blowing that black smoke down the track and just about 2 feet shy of the leader there. Spinning out hard for a solid run. Next up is the 2022 points champion, Mike Peronish. The bone stock truck, a fan favorite. He had a great season last year. Let's see if he can kick off this year with a win here at Listie Grove. Here he comes. He's going to shut down at 3:09.95, and he ran a very similar line to his competitors there. Had a great run down the track. Just not quite enough to get in that leader position here tonight, but a solid pass by bone stock Mike Peronish. Next up is Garrett Brooks, a 2011 Dodge, and he's been eyeing up the #1 spot in this class for about a year now. Let's see if tonight's the night for him. And man, I think he did it. Let's see what he got. 3:18.20. And he started off more towards the center of the track than the other guys and veered off towards the right side. Kind of ran a very similar line then. Spun out hard and got the leading distance now. And next up, going to be Joe Espy. Good looking truck there, a 91 Dodge he calls Bad Company. Here he goes. A very solid run. These trucks are just stacking in there. 3:11.24, so not quite enough to take over the lead here tonight, but just 7 feet shy. So far, this whole class is within 10 feet of each other, and that's something you really like to see. a very competitive show here tonight so far. This is Matt Barron, a new truck to the Appalachian Outlaws pooling series for 2023. Not a bad run at all. He started off more towards the center like the other guys have been recently in the class here. Was very aggressive to get over on that right side of the track. But not a bad run. 306.49. And here he is, another tough running truck in the division. This is Brandon Kipple. 2012 Dodge, here he goes. And spinning out there, what's the distance on him? 318.20, we have a tie. Garrett Brooks and Brandon Kipple are both 318.20, so they're tied for first place. Not too often you see that, and especially in a very competitive class like this, you usually see a truck get ahead of somebody to get the win. But Jeff Weimer going to be rounding out the class here. He came back after his first attempt. Here he goes. 312.37, able to get up into the top 5 there. A good run laid down after not being able to get off the line on that first attempt. And he stayed more towards the center, and that might have been the difference maker there. Ran a different line down the track. But that's going to do it. Garrett Brooks, Brandon Kipple both tie 318.20. Rod Briggs 314.48, and Jeff Weimer just got that 312.37 distance. So a great class, a great show here at Listie Grove so far. We'll be back next week with more action from the two-day Thunder Truck and Tractor Pool. Be sure to check out our website, www.AppalachianOutlawsPooling.com, for more information, and we'll see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start today's show, we want to let you know about our next event coming up at Weekland's Mechanic Shop, July 22nd at 6 o'clock p.m. $15 for adults, $5 for kids. This event features the big block, high-output four-wheel drive trucks, the hot rod diesels, and the Outlaw Farm Tractor division. So if you're interested, be sure to check out our Facebook page for more information, and we hope to see you there. Now on to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here for part number 3 of the two-day Thunder Truck and Tractor Pool at Listie Grove, featuring the Outlaw Farm Tractor division. We're kicking things off right now. And we're going to take a look at the official running order for tonight's class. Chris Bencotti going to lead it off here in just a few moments. But this class has been very competitive so far for the 2023 season. They competed just a couple weeks ago at the Cookport Class Truck and Tractor Pool. Here's their second points event of the 2023 season with your test puller, Chris Bencotti.
Wait for that stroke and he's off.
And not what you want to see there on the first attempt, but they're going to bring him back. He has one more try here. Let's see if he can get it down the track. And not a bad run. We'll take a look at your replay here. 3:04.69, and he had a lot of tire hop there in the front towards the beginning of that pass, and I'm sure that wasn't what he wanted to happen there. Might have lost a little bit of distance potentially, so he's going to drop that hook and come back at the end of the class. So our first official puller is going to be Butch Ansel, a 1066 International from Somerset, Pennsylvania. Let's see what he can do here. Oh man, and a tough break for him. It seemed like he came out of the hole really fast, had a great run going for him there, but he's going to be stopped short at 267.03. Not what you want to see. So next up is going to be Rich Weimer from New Alexander, Pennsylvania. Here he goes. And a great run put down. There's going to be your new leader out on the track, 299.09. Got a nice wheelie going there for a good 20 to 30 feet. Got a lot of track speed in the process. Spinning out hard at the end. And next up is going to be Wes Benke. He plays really well at the Cookport Class Truck and Tractor Pool. Let's see if he can keep the momentum going here. And he stayed more towards the middle portion of the track there, puttered out at the end, gave it all she had, 299.31. So gonna be the new leader in the class. Took a little bit different of a line down through the track. Maybe that's what did it for him, but a great run put down by him. And that's gonna be your current leader, 299.31. And next up is going to be Steve Hanks, a Case 1175. Good looking tractor here. Wes Benke just put down the leading distance, 299.31. What can Steve do? And a second attempt here for him.
Get that thing rolling, keep them RPMs up and stay on top of that turbo. This is his second attempt. This is all he's got.
And the track official is going to make sure he's good to go here on the track. He gets one more attempt. Let's see what he can do. Steve Hanks. He's struggling to get that tractor going. Gonna stop at the 34.82 mark for today. Next up's gonna be Dave Fisher, a 1466 International. He calls the Misfit Mistress from Crystal Springs, Pennsylvania. And a good run put down by him. You take a look at the replay. He ran the same line the current leader did, 297.26. So going to be shy of the lead by about 2 feet or so. A good run put down by the Misfit Mistress, Dave Fisher. And next up's going to be Evan Hillegas, a John Deere 4255 from Berlin, Pennsylvania. And he had a crazy takeoff going there as soon as he started pulling off. Huge wheelie, bouncing all around. Couldn't get it to light up and go. 189.61 going to be the final distance for him. And next up is going to be Sam McWilliams, 1066 International from Somerset. Here he comes.
I don't care how far it's through.
269.36 gonna be the distance for him there.
I don't care how far.
Next up's gonna be Kevin Fogy, a 766 International from Somerset, Pennsylvania. Here he goes. And we'll take a look at the replay here in just a second, but a really respectable run put down. 295.69 gonna be the distance for him there. So just a couple feet shy of the leader position so far, and a great pass put down. And last but not least is gonna be your test puller, Chris Bencotti, with the leading distance still at 299.31. Let's see what he can do. And there's going to be your winner, 310.48, a monster pass put down just about 11 feet over the leader there, and he was able to take home the win. The last pass of the night, going to get it done here at Listie. Solid run. And here's your results for the class. Chris Bencotti coming back last, going 310.48. Wes Benke, 299.31, and Rich Weimer, 299.09, gonna round out the top three. And here's the rest of your results in the class. A very competitive class here, as you can see. Not a whole lot of distance between. And on today's episode, we have over 20 big block four-wheel drive trucks here competing at Listie. And the thing about this class is it's anybody's game. Any one of these trucks can win on any given night. A very competitive class. Usually the top trucks are within 10 feet of each other. So kicking things off is going to be Charlene Schilling, a new truck for the 2023 season. And she didn't have the greatest run back at Cookport just a few weeks ago, but they made a couple minor changes to the truck, hoping to have it lay down a little bit better of a pass. So let's see what she can do here. The chain's tight. This is Charlene Schilling with disorderly conduct, the 54 Chevy. So we'll take a look at your replay here in a moment. The distance is going to be 273.49, and they're still trying to iron out some issues with the truck there, but a solid run put down. And man, if they get the gearing figured out in this truck, it is going to run healthy. Very smooth pull. They just got to get a few things changed out, and they should be in the right direction. But coming up next, going to be Kyle Wright. He calls this truck the Rusted Rooster, a 79 Ford, making his Appalachian Outlaws debut here tonight at Listie. 279.49, the mark to beat. Can he do it? And for the first pull ever, a solid run put down. He got in it nice and easy. Got out there to 297.89, so right around that 300-foot mark. And a strong run spinning out at the end for Kyle Wright, the Rusted Hooker, 79 Ford. And I'm sure this is the first of many hooks we'll see him this season. Next up's going to be Dalton Vess, an 86 Ford, beautiful looking truck from Millboro, Virginia. And this is a former winner of the two-day Thunder Truck and Tractor Pull. So let's see if he uses his experience here to take over the number 1 spot. And just judging by the sound of that truck, it seems like it wasn't running quite right either, but he does get out there at 3:12.06, a solid run put down. Gonna put him in the number 1 spot here for tonight. For Dalton Vess, Millboro, Virginia. Virginia's in the lead, but let's see if Pennsylvania can take the lead back. This is Scotty Kiefer from Connellsville, Pennsylvania. An 86 Chevy he calls the Misfit. He had some breakage at the last pull at Cookport. Going to give it a run here to try to get up in the point standings. And the truck started to bounce there a little bit. He didn't like it, so he's getting his second attempt here. Let's see if he can get it going this time. And man, he drove the truck off the line a little bit different, and that worked out for him. Still had a little bit of front end shake, but he got in it fast, and it kind of delayed it a little bit. Was able to get a lot of track speed and got out there to 3:35.42, a monster run put down. The best run he's had all season, and we're going to see if it holds up. Gonna be a tough one to beat there. And next up is going to be one of the most popular trucks in the big block four-wheel drive division. This is Bobby Joe Duke, a 1984 Chevy she calls Drivin' Miss Daisy. They've done a lot of testing with this truck so far during the 2023 season, so let's see if it pays off for her here at Listie. And just about 9 feet away from the leader, 326.48. She creeped on out there about a truck length, got in it quick and got a ton of track speed, veering off towards the right side of the track like Scotty Kiefer did, but not quite enough here tonight, but a solid run nonetheless. And next up is going to be the current points leader, the Undertaker from the Undertaker pulling team. Ronnie Unger doing the driving here tonight. This was your number one truck at the Cookport Clash a couple weeks ago. That's what got him in this spot. Let's see if he can keep it. And this truck took a little bit different of a line down the track this time. Got in it quick, veered off towards the right side a lot quicker than his opponents. 328.37, gonna be the distance for him, but not enough to get the number one spot here tonight. And next up is gonna be another fierce competitor here at Listie. This is Terry Mostoller at his hometown track. Let's see if this experience gets him in the lead. Gonna be the distance for him, and he ran a very similar line to the other trucks so far. Waited a little bit longer to veer off towards the right side and finish strong. Not a bad run for him. Next up's gonna be Adam Tice, a top running truck from Eastern Pennsylvania. He has a couple wins so far in the 2023 season. Had a big win at Buck Motorsports Park just a few weeks ago. Now he's pulling with the Appalachian Outlaws. Let's see what he can do. And man, he is knocking on Scotty Kiefer's door right there. 332.34. Not quite enough to take over the #1 spot, but he is right there. An amazing run put down by the Untamed Outlaw. Let's see if it stands, but currently in the top 5. And if you want to talk about gas truck and tractor pulling, you got to mention this guy here, Gary Chambers from Bremen, Ohio. This truck has been all over the East Coast so far in the 2023 season, pulling in Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Virginia, most of the East Coast. He has been putting a lot of hooks on this truck, gathering data, trying to be the best that he can be. Let's see if it pays off for him here. Oh man, and a monster run put down by him, 343.64. The distance to beat was 335.42, so a monster run put down. And he stayed towards the middle portion of that track compared to a lot of these guys so far tonight. Ended off strong, and man, that's going to be a tough distance to beat. But if anybody can do it, it's this truck right here, Tracy Troy from Rector, Pennsylvania. Let's see what she can do here. And what a run put down by Blue Past You, 329.31, gonna be the distance for her. And a solid run put down, as you can see here on the replay. She ran a very similar run to Gary Chambers, right down the middle portion of that track and veering off towards the left side instead of the right. So a very solid run put down by Tracy Troy. And here he is, another Friedens, Pennsylvania native at his home track. This is Jerry Mostoller, a 1969 Ford he calls the Mistress. He has a lot of wins on this pulling surface here, probably more wins at Listie than anybody in the division. So let's see if he can get another win here tonight. Oh man, not what you want to see there. It looks like he had some major driveline failure there. Gonna have to get towed off the track here tonight at 101 feet. Not a good night for Jerry. Next up's gonna be Carl Barnhart, a 1970 Ford he calls Midlife Crisis, a former Full Pool Productions champion. Here he goes. Oh man, and what a run. Let's look at his distance here. 335.39, gonna be good enough for number 3 so far here tonight at Listie, in a great group of trucks. He veered off towards the right like a lot of the trucks have been doing here tonight. But man, the track speed at that middle portion of the pulling surface was very, very fast. Got up there in the number 4 spot. But here he is. This is Matt Moser driving Judgment Day. This is the number 2 truck in the points division so far for 2023. A top running truck every single time it's out. He's hooked to the sled. The chain is tight. Can he take over the lead? The distance to beat is 343.64. Here's Judgment Day. And a solid run put down, not quite enough to take over the lead, but that's going to definitely get him in the top 8 so far here tonight. 331.20. Very smooth pull put down, and that's something you just come to expect with this team, with Matt Moser, Rob Farrell. Their team does a great job of building these trucks, getting down the track nice and efficiently. A good run put down. And next up is going to be the top running truck coming from Virginia, arguably. Multi-time Dragon Motorsports champion, multi-time Mountain Boys Pullers champion, but he has yet to get a win on the Appalachian Outlaws pulling circuit. After an engine failure last year, he's back for his first pull here at Listie. A good looking Ford Ranger. They call it the Danger Ranger, an 88 Ford. Here he goes. And man, something not right there, but he was on a mission. Got in it quick, got out to the 320.09 mark. Looks like he possibly broke something in that truck with all the sparks flying, but man, he had a monster pass going for him. And next up's going to be Jason Barron, a 1979 Chevy he calls the Flying Farmer out of Somerset, Pennsylvania. Here he goes. Taking a look at your replay here, 327.02. Had a little bit of bounce there in the truck at the starting line, so that definitely affected his distance there. But he's going to edge out a couple of his competitors here and get in the top 10 so far. And here's a good-looking truck, and it runs as good as it looks, too. Darrell Vest from Millboro, Virginia. He already has a couple wins on the 2023 season down in his home state. Now he's in Pennsylvania. Let's see if he can add another win to his resume. And a great run put down, 331.05. Not quite enough to get in the top 5, but he's creeping on their door there. Another solid run put down by Darrell Vest with that 1977 Dodge. And after a couple years away waiting on an engine, this is Jim Hrapchak. He's back with the slightly twisted 2 truck. A former Power Pooling Productions Pro Stock 4-wheel drive champion, multi-time winner on the Full Pool Productions circuit. Can he get his first win on the Appalachian Outlaws Pooling Series? And he's going to stack in there too. Let's look at his distance, 330.16. The majority of the division so far is in that 330 to 345 range. So 15 feet dividing the majority of these trucks tonight. A very competitive showing for sure, but a great run put down by Jim, and that's going to get him up there in the point standing as well. So he's got to be a little bit happy with that. Next up's going to be Mike Barr with the Sled Wrecker. Now, this isn't a regular puller with the Appalachian Outlaws Pulling Series. He commits to a lot of other points divisions over the summer, but every now and then he'll pop into one of our pools and put on a great showing. A former Full Pool Productions champion, a top running truck on the Snyder County Points circuit. So let's see what he can do here. He's one of the last pullers in the division. Let's see if he got some data to put on a good showing. And man, he hugged the right line really hard at the end there. 337.15, putting down a monster pass. Creeping on the door of the leader, but not quite enough. That's going to be good enough for the number 2 spot here tonight so far. And our last puller in the class going to be Tyler Wright, making his Appalachian Outlaws debut. But if you're a fan of gas truck pulling, you know this truck right here. It was a top-running truck in Ohio for many, many years. Now it's in Pennsylvania. Let's see if he can get the win here. And a good run put down for his first ever pull. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of improvement coming out of this team as we get into 2023 in the future. So a solid run to get things started for him. 317.47, gonna be the distance on him. For the Shotgun Sally 2000 Ford Ranger. So we're going to take a look at your winning run here. Gary Chambers taking the win back to Ohio with the 1973 Ford he calls the Bandit. Let's take a look. And a great run put down by him. Good enough for number one and gonna put him number one in the point standings for 2023. So here's a look at your final results here. A great showing out of all these big block four-wheel drive trucks. And that's going to do it for today's episode. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have a new episode of the Appalachian Outlaws Pulling Series coming out every Thursday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next episode.